Solving podcast attribution with Fairing's post-purchase surveys. Fairing is a fundamental attribution solution and source of truth for thousands of DTC brands running hard-to-measure media. And right at the top of those media types sits podcasts. Solving podcast attribution is habitually the hurdle that holds most digital-oriented brands and agencies back from embracing the media type. But with such a magnificently packaged opportunity of host-read celebrity testimonial, audience self-segmentation, and evergreen placement, it's media you cannot afford to overlook. It begs the question, if there are so many DTC brands seeing success with such a hard-to-measure medium, how do they find the missing link in their podcast ROI equations? Well, they use Fairing. A case study in solving podcast attribution. Let's look at the proof in practice first. One of our clients, Adam McNeil, went from having zero experience in podcast media to running up $500,000 in revenue on a tiny pod budget, which immediately justified a 25x increase in spend. The whole growth process is fantastically documented here, but the TLDR is that Fairing's post-purchase survey provided the ultimate safety net for podcast attribution, and to great effect. We get about 40% of new customers responding to the survey. We use this to calibrate our judgments. We can see that virtually 29% of all new customers come through podcasts. It's also worth noting, Adam saw so much success in his podcast experiments and processes that he later left the brand to head up marketing for a podcast agency. Suffice it to say, growth can happen fast in this space. A little attribution methodology goes a long way. The client above used Fairing's ground truth data to incorporate a lift modifier method, taking the consistently underreported attribution in coupon codes or UTM parameters and adding in the population of survey respondents, then removing the pre-campaign baseline, a standard method for reducing survey bias, to find the full attribution effect. Keep in mind, Fairing appends all these survey responses with transaction and traffic data at a one-to-one customer level. Here's what that lift modifier math looks like. Direct converters, e.g. via URL or promo code redemption. Plus, indirect converters, e.g. survey respondents indicating a particular channel. Minus, pre-campaign baseline, e.g. channel responses received pre-campaign. Equals fully attributed audience. If this method is unfamiliar to you, no sweat. Many of the most effective podcast ad agencies already use it religiously. And in fact, another of our most prominent offline media partners penned a broader article on understanding the podcast attribution methodology they use for all their biggest advertisers. Yes, the ones you're always hearing when you listen into the most popular pods. Read the full podcast attribution methodology guide from right side up. Turning podcast attribution into new channel discovery. Last but not least, the hidden magic of post-purchase surveys is the freedom your customers have to clue you in on emerging opportunities through the other response field. This is where you will often find organic mentions and earned exposure you wouldn't have discovered on your own, opening up the chance for channel diversification and making inroads to new shows. Of course, the optimal balance between previously unknown data and expected, structured data is to have the right one in every situation. For this reason, we developed our autocomplete feature to produce the best of both worlds. Customers who write in an other response get the option to choose an existing response, keeping your survey data clean so you can properly separate attribution from exploration. Fairing pays for itself through dark attribution alone. Delivering reliable attribution to your door on a daily basis is just one of Fairing's many use cases. And given how often dark conversions dismantle a marketing operator's ability to run their side of the business, the value of that newfound attribution data alone is enough to see your Fairing plan pay for itself several times over. Give our dark attribution ROI calculator a try over on our pricing page and launch into a free 14-day trial to start getting a handle on offline attribution immediately.